Well, good evening, afternoon, morning. I always say that because I speak to people all over the world. I've got friends from everywhere. And I am very excited. My name is Linda Larson Schlitz. I am a counselor from Wausau, Wisconsin. And we are doing a 7-day sobriety challenge during Christmas to New Year's. What a crazy time to do it. But I have got a lot of folks that are helping me to present some inspirational stories that hopefully can convince you, if you're listening and you're struggling, why doing a sober challenge during this time of year is a great idea. Tonight, my guest is Mary Sheckles Jones, and I am so thrilled to have someone who it's never too late to start over. And Mary, I met her just last year, and I've got both of her books and her t-shirts. And what an inspiration. Mary, thank you so much for joining me today. I am so excited to have you here.
Thank you. So glad to be here.
Yes.
So glad to be here.
Yeah. So
I just love what you're doing, your accomplishments.
Oh.
I love the program that you're going on because people do need, there's people out there that need you. I just wish there was someone out there like you when I was allowing my flesh to lead me.
So Mary, tell us gosh, you've got such a powerful story. So why don't you tell the audience a little bit about where you came from and what has gotten you to where you are today?
Oh, wow. My story. Well, my story is just like any other current person that does drugs or an addict or a good addict to anything, because the game is the same, but the players are different.
Oh, yeah.
That's all. This it. So once one person get in the recreational side of the drugs instead of the prescription side of the drug, there's two. Everybody get them confused. There's two. There's the recreational side and there's a prescription side. I was in the recreational side.
Okay.
I was in the recreational side. Very.
Well, I think that whole what is what? There's, some people look at a glass of wine as recreational, or that's how they look at it. And there is a prescription, but it's just a fine line. Marijuana is used as a prescription, but it's also used for recreational. And like they used to tell us in school, it is a slippery slope from one thing to another. So what you're saying is the drug of choice doesn't really matter. A drug's a drug. And whatever we get addicted to, even if it's food or sex or whatever, addiction is addiction. Yeah. So how did you get out of it? How did you get out of it?
Oh, that really was not an easy process. Well, for one, I was living in Los Angeles at that time, and I just got tired. I became a willing participant, and I prayed, and I called God, and I gave him his word back, which is Jeremiah 29:11.
Okay.
When he says, I have a plan for your life, to help you, not to hurt you. And I said, when I kept saying, well, Lord, this is not the plan that you have for me. And I wanted to come out. So I was laying in the bed with my husband laying next to me. And I was crying. I was crying so hard. Whether I woke him up or not, I really didn't care, because, you know what I'm saying, I was just at my bottom. And I kept saying, this is not the life I want. Even though I consider, put in quotes, myself as a functioning addict, which means I pay my bills, I pay my rent, and whatever I had left, I would get high with. But then it got to the point over the course of the years before I quit that wasn't enough, because my flesh or the craving became more deeply consistent. It wanted what it wanted on a daily basis, on an hourly basis, on a minute basis. But the whole point of it is what all addicts seem to do is look for that same first high.
Yes.
And that's how they get caught up. That's how we all get caught up, because we buy and buy and buy and buy and buy, still looking for that first one hit that took you to the outer space or whatever. And guess what? You'll never get it back.
No, no,
It's
you
gone.
don't.
It's
No,
gone.
Mary, you talk about the flesh. What do you mean by that? Why don't you explain what you mean by that?
Okay, the flesh is your skin.
Okay.
That's not hard to explain, but I'm trying to explain it to where people can understand the spiritual and the flesh. Because the whole point is God is a spirit.
Yes.
But for God to come down to this earth, he had to come as Jesus Christ. That came in the flesh.
Okay.
The God is spirit. Jesus Christ is flesh. We are spirit. We was created in our mommy's bellies. So we became flesh.
Okay.
So that's how that goes. So flesh is your skin. And as long as you are maintained in your skin, you're gonna always sin. That's why Jesus Christ said we die daily. You're gonna die of the flesh to become spirit. So that means you're gonna die of self to become
Okay.
spirit.
So yeah, so how I'm getting this and how I guess I see it too is the flesh is that desire, that craving, that thing that is something other than what God wants for us.
Correct.
Which is what takes us to, I love the step 11, praying only for the knowledge of God's will for us and the power to carry that out. Because if we don't know what God has for us, what his will
Right.
is,
Mhm.
spiritually, we're going to continue to do what we're kind of born to do, which is
Correct.
from the moment we're born, gimme, gimme, gimme. That's
Mhm.
that's our flesh.
That's exactly what
That's our flesh. We want what we want when we want it.
we
And we're
want
just
it.
kind of
Yes.
born with that. And I mean, nobody teaches kids to fight over a toy.
Mm-mm. It comes natural.
It does.
That's mine.
It does.
That's mine. I want what's mine.
Yes,
That's what it
exactly.
is. And that's what kids
Exactly.
do. That's what
Yep.
kids do.
Yeah, that's how it is. And so when you came to this realization that, you were done, it was over, how did you actually stop? I mean, in my new download book that people can get once they sign up this is the day 4, and it's on dealing with happy hour, wine o'clock, and changing your way of doing things. How do you get out of those patterns and those habits and those friends? How did you do that?
Well, for one, I came out because I was a willing participant. I wanted out. I wanted a different life. And like I said in Jeremiah 29:11, stuck in my head. So I kept saying, Lord, I know this is not the life you had planned for me. But one thing I'm going to say this, Miss Linda, every time a person hits bottom or wants to leave, sometimes you can just walk away with no issues. But with me, I had to fight because I guess because the Satan knew what God had for me, that he didn't want me to stop doing what I was doing, because I would call it a distraction. I was being distracted at the same time being disappointed.
Oh, okay.
I was being disappointed, but I did not know how to fight that failure.
Okay.
So by fighting that failure, Satan says no. So it took brain surgery to get me back.
Literal
Because,
brain surgery?
oh yeah, literally, I got a part of my brain missed. I got a part of my left side. Let me tell you the story. When I wanted to get clean and I prayed to the Lord that I wanted to stop, I was tired. And so I went and lay down on the bed and I got a headache, real bad headache. It wouldn't stop. I tried taking having blood pressure pills, aspirin, whatever, lay back down, it wouldn't stop. So I asked my husband to take me to the emergency room. When they took me to the emergency room, they called him out to move his car because he was parked in the EMS this place. So he put me to the waiting area to him come back, and that's the last thing I heard. That's the last thing I know that I saw. But what I'm going to tell you now is on the secondhand information. It's not firsthand. But what my husband tells me that the people that was in the hospital, Central Mental Hospital in LA, took me back to the emergency room. They stabilized me, and then they put me in the ambulance and sent me to another hospital, which was University of Southern California. And when I got through, they said they had cut my skull from top of my forehead to the base of my neck, pulled my skull open with fossils, and they clamped it off. And the blood vessel in my brain had burst. It had burst, but guess what? It did not flow the way most blood flows when it bursts. It didn't go to the right or left. Man, went to one side and stayed on the left side instead of the left side of my brain. So from what I understand, the doctors had went in, removed that, took that, and took the second. I thought everybody tell me a part of my brain, but come find out it was a section of my brain on the left side. So when they did that, they put staples and stitches back in my head. But while I was on the operating table, I had a heart attack. They said I flatlined, came back, and then put me into a room. I had a stroke on the Thursday, had another stroke that Saturday.
Oh my.
So really, basically, I'm supposed, according to the doctors and all the medical people, I shouldn't be here on this earth. And see, and plus on that too, I take no medication.
Oh my
So
goodness.
that was God. And I do what I do because I know where I came from and who I am. And I know who saved my life, who gave me life. The same person that gave me life saved my life. All
Oh,
because I wanted to quit doing drugs.
see, that's what God does. He takes us where we're at. He reaches us in a way we can understand, and he uses us as long as we're willing to be a faucet of hope for him. And I just love, oh my gosh, what a story that you're now doing his will and you're
Yeah.
discipling people. So tell us real quick, what does that mean to disciple someone?
Discipling someone is making sure that you pick up your cross and follow God, follow Jesus. But before you can pick up your cross to follow Jesus, you have to know who you are. So what I'm doing now is basically trying to try to promote two books at the same time. One of it is Finding Yourself by Renewing Your Mind, and the other is called From Christianity to Discipleship. Now, Finding Yourself by Renewing Your Mind is something that I just got through telling you about the flesh
Yes,
and the spirit.
right.
Okay, that's knowing who you are. And you can find out who you are by reading Romans, the book of Romans, from chapter 1 all the way through. Then again, you have the call from Christian to discipleship. You're going to be a Christian. God is calling you now, which is coming from Matthew 28, verse 19 to 20. He said, okay, now I've trained you. So see, we're out right now. We're all sitting in God's waiting room. God, we're in God's waiting room. He's training us. He's molding us. And then he'll say, okay, just like he did his 12 disciples. He took them under his wing for all those years, and he trained them. He taught them. He molded them. He made them uneducated because everybody thought they were stupid, didn't know any better. But the same thing he's doing with us in his waiting room. So now that you're in God's waiting room, he said, okay, now I'm going to send you out 2 by 2 to become disciples. And that's what he's telling you here. And my book, called From Christian to Discipleship, it's all about requisition.
Yeah.
How to become a great disciple and how to train others to become disciples. And then the last part of the book is how he's going to sustain you. He's going to sustain you through all of this. But then again, you got to know who you are. Finding yourself by renewing your mind. You got to change from your stinky thinking to a disciple thinking.
Oh, beautiful, Mary.
Yes.
And I know there's going to be people that are watching this that aren't Christians, that don't have a clue what you're talking about. But most people who might be watching this are in recovery and probably
Right.
understand sponsorship. Discipling someone is like having a sponsor
Awesome.
that is teaching you all about the Bible, is teaching you what it means
Right.
to be a Christian. You know, being a sponsor is teaching you how to basically do the same thing. And a lot of
Right.
people don't have a clue that a lot of
Well,
the reading.
okay, well, I'm going to say this, Ms. Linda. In 2023, I'm planning on getting with my friend Andre Grant, and him and I wanted to come up with an online class of how to become a disciple of God. It's easy to say to pick up your cross and follow me. But if you don't understand, like you said, there are new Christians born that get the salvations every day.
Yeah.
But don't really know what's going on.
Right.
So what I'm going to do is do my online courses, and I'm going to take you from that step. But when you raise your hand and you say that prayer of salvation, and because you're going to get an invitation, God's giving you an invitation. I was going to preach on, I was going to speak on that as well, because he has given invitations, sent invitations out. He said, I'm throwing this big, do you remember that in the Bible when he's having it's like a benediction at every church. Come on now. After every if you go to church, after every church, they give you a benediction. And that benediction is your invitation.
Yeah, that's amazing. Mary, I would love to have you be a part of my Purpose-Driven Recovery Academy, which is my school that has people who are in recovery and are helping other people to become God's best for them. So I would love to have you join in that. And I just really appreciate you being with us today, Mary. And I want to tell our listeners some of what else they can get when they get hooked up with this 7-day sobriety challenge. So some people are here and they haven't even signed up because I just put the link out. I wanted them to see you tonight, so I didn't make people sign up to get here. I just put them out there. But there is so much more if people actually sign up. They get well, we got about 15 speakers that are going to be speaking in this next week. They get my book that I'll tell you about in a minute, my ebook. They get to attend these live talks, and then they get my book. I've put it out on Kindle for this couple of weeks here for 99 cents, so they can get that. My download book that I just wrote, it's just an ebook. It's not real long. It's only 10 pages, but it's really going to go through what you just talked about, is getting to that problem of being sick and tired of sick and tired. And then getting to that enough. Is there any hope? And I can tell people like you did, I've been in this program for 46 years. I got clean, but then I started drinking, and a drug's a drug. And I drank for 10 years, and now I've been sober 26, but you've got to surrender. You've got to give it up. You've got to say, yes, God. I mean, we do it when we get arrested. So it's facing it, and it's taken one day at a time, and we got to stop play it to the end. That is what you're talking about with the renewing of your mind. You got to stop and go, do I really want to take this drink or this drug? Do I really want to watch this pornography? Do I really want to eat another cupcake? You got to play it to the end and look at the end result.
Yeah, because, see, Ms. Linda, the whole point is you have to be able to work to stop being led by your flesh.
Exactly. It's
you gotta tell your man, the flesh is not going to lead me anymore because I have the Holy Spirit inside of me. Let the Holy Spirit guide me.
Yep,
Let
that's the
him,
key.
let him, let him
That's the
guide me.
key.
Yeah.
And here's Mary's 2 books that she's been talking about, called From Christianity to Discipleship and Finding Yourself by Renewing Your Mind. You can contact Mary at maryshecklesjones.com and get the books that way. I think I got them. No, you sent them to me, Mary, but I know they're on, you can get them on major places as well. Or you can just email Mary. If you want to talk to Mary, you can just email her at maryjanesheckles9@yahoo.com, and she will be available. And as you can tell, a true witness and testimony to the transformation that can take place when you turn your life over to the care of God and to surrender to the one we've been celebrating here the last few days, as Jesus came to earth to save us from ourselves, bring us peace, and give us a new life in him. Once we understand that purpose we have in him, things get a lot easier, don't they, Mary?
Yes, they do. Yes, they really do.
They do. Now, tomorrow, I'm really excited. Oh, this is the website. If you want to sign up to get all of these other benefits and blessings, and I'm sure, Mary, if somebody wanted to have like a free strategy session with you, they could email you, right? And you
Oh, sure. Yeah, they can just email me. Email me and I would get back. I would get back in touch with you. Oh, you can also download what you call DM me. What's it called? Direct message.
Okay.
You can DM me as well.
Yeah, so go ahead and sign up for 7daysobrietychallenge.com. You get these bonuses, you get more of this information, and that would be great. But tomorrow, Sarah Alamo, the happiness coach and best-selling author, is going to be with me at 9 a.m. Central Standard Time. That's tomorrow. And Sarah has got a cool story. She was kind of a hotsy-totsy rich girl. And she went from pearls in probation. She's the adventures of an alcoholic good girl. She was one of those who was just a social drinker. Just, is that what you called it? A recreational drinker. And she ended up recreating her life by driving home and getting picked up for drunk driving and couldn't get off. So she ended up on probation. And now she's got a tremendous ministry to people, helping them to learn how to be happy in spite of their situation and how to tell their story as well. She's got, I think she's working on her 3rd book as well. So I'm excited. Thank you so much, Mary, for joining me today. And this will be downloaded and put on YouTube and will be made available. So please, folks, sign up on 7daysobrietychallenge.com. so you can get these bonuses and stay up to date. And I'll just throw this in. I will be starting my 12-week course, Hope for Recovery. It's a 12-week course. We go through the 12 steps, comparing them or using the Bible to work through those 12 steps, taking one day at a time, and you'll get lots of bonuses there too. So I'll be talking more about that. Stick with me, contact me as well. And thank you all for watching. So God bless, Mary. Thank you so much.
God bless you too.
It's going to be great. Okay.
Thank
Awesome.
you. Shalom.
Okay,
Shalom.
take care.
Mhm.